everyone, this is Revati and welcome to my English class. Today we are going to see the process of a little child's growth. Now, while growing up, we learn so many things as we grow up. Even in our day-to-day life, we keep learning things. Now, there are certain things we learn by ourselves, and there are certain things we need help and support of others. Especially when it comes to infants, they totally need the support of their parents in the process of growing up and learning things. Now let's take an example of an infant. An infant who's trying to walk. Initially, it tries its best to stand up, but then it's not possible. The mother tries to support the infant initially. The mother holds its fingers, right? And tries to support. Later on, when it gains confidence, it will try by itself to stand without any support, and slowly will start experimenting by putting one step in front of the other and slowly the other in front of the other. This is how the infant learns to walk. Now just imagine the mother is too scared to leave her child unattended without any support, and she goes on holding the hands of the infant. Will the infant be able to learn to walk? No. It would totally depend on the mother forever, as long as the mother is holding hands. So it's inevitable that the mother lets the child walk by itself, by leaving to its own resources from time to time, though she supervises at a little distance. Now, this lesson we are going to read two stories about flying. In that, the first part, His First Flight, written by Liam O. Flannery. This story tells us about the fears faced by a young seagull in the process of learning to fly. What are the difficulties it faces, and what are the fears it has to overcome in order to start flying, in order to make his first flight. That is all about the story, His First Flight. Now we can relate to this story. This story is totally relatable to each and every one of us, because life is all about learning, and while learning new things, we do have our own doubts, fears, and sometimes lack of confidence. And we understand finally, when we do it, we understand that it is such a simple thing, and unnecessarily we fear doing it. Until unless you start doing things, you will not be able to overcome your fears and doubts. So the only way to overcome your fears and doubts is to face them. Face it. Face your doubts. Face your fears. And success is always yours. Now, this is what we learn from this small story, short story, his first flight. Let's read on. His first flight. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. So this story totally talks about how the young seagull made his first flight. He was sitting on his ledge, as you can see in the book. Ledge is a horizontal surface on the wall, and here the seagull is sitting on a mountain, actually on a hill, so a flat surface on the hill. So he was sitting there and he was all alone. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. His siblings already made their first flight. Siblings, brothers and sisters. They already made their first flight, whereas this young seagull was stuck. He could not make his first flight. He was stuck there. He had been afraid to fly with them. Why was he stuck there? Why was he all alone? Because he was afraid. It was his fear that held him here on this cliff, on the ledge of the cliff. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. It's not that he had not been trying. He has been trying. He's taking a few steps ahead. He's flapping his wings, but then he's afraid. The process ends there. He moves ahead to the edge of the ledge, and then there he flaps his wings for a while and he stops. He stops because he is afraid. What is he afraid of? The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. What was he afraid of? When he looked down, he could see that there was a great expanse of sea underneath, which stretched for miles. Stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. The sea was so far away beneath the ledge where he was perched. He was sitting on this ledge. From there, the surface of the sea was way, way, way beneath, underneath. And it was such a long way down, miles down. So he was afraid of this distance between the ledge on which he was sitting and the sea, surface of the sea. Why was he afraid? He felt certain that his wings would never support him. What does this tell us? He lacked confidence. He was not confident that his wings would support him and allow him to fly in the air. He thought that he is going to fall down. And where was he going to fall down? Underneath. And where was that? Miles down into the surface of the sea. So he was afraid of this. Afraid of failure. He thought that his wings will not support him. So he was afraid that he would fail to fly, to make his first flight. And hence he was staying there alone on the ledge. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. He became afraid. He thought, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. So he went back to that little hole under the ledge where he spent the night, where he slept at night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His brothers and sister, they had exhibited their skill in making their first flight. Actually, this particular seagull's wings were much bigger when compared to his siblings, but then he could not pull up that courage. He could not muster up courage to take that plunge, to take that flight. He had to step out of his comfort zone, right? Until unless you step out of your comfort zone, it is highly impossible for you to achieve things. You need to come out. You need to make your attempts. Yes, sometimes your attempts fail, but then you have to keep on trying till you succeed. Try and try till you succeed, isn't it? So this particular seagull was afraid even to put in efforts. He wasn't having enough courage to make an attempt to fly. Okay, so one thing is that he did not have enough confidence. He thought that his wings will not be able to support him. And the second thing is that he lacked courage to make this attempt. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. You know, his parents, they were doing their own part. They were trying to, probably they told him softly, probably they tried to teach him in all different ways, but he wouldn't take any cues. So what did they do? They started upbraiding him. They started scolding him. And what did they say? They started warning him, threatening him. How did they threaten him? If you do not make your first flight, you are going to starve, because we are not going to provide food to you. You have to make your first flight, and then only you are going to have your food. You have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to step out of your ledge. Threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. Until and unless you fly, you are not going to get food. You are going to starve. This was the warning given by the parents to this young seagull. But for the life of him, he could not move. But he couldn't make it. He couldn't muster the courage. He couldn't gather the courage to make this flight. He was totally afraid. That was 24 hours ago. What was 24 hours ago? The warning given by his parents. They threatened him 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. Just like they had promised and threatened, what did they do? They left him. They said, until and unless you make your flight, you are not going to get food. We are not going to support you. right? You have to do what you have to do, right? You have to put in your efforts. Then we are there to take care of you. That is what it means. Does it mean that the parents do not love their young child? It's not that. It is necessary for them to let the seagull grow up independently. He has to learn to fly by himself independently and catch fish independently. So it was necessary for the parents, parents of the young seagull, to leave him behind. Sometimes it is necessary, isn't it? So it doesn't mean that they do not love their child, but here it is necessary for them to leave him behind. So they did not come near the young seagull. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. So he was sitting there and watching his parents teaching his siblings how to dive, how to fly, how to turn. These are different skills involved in the process of flying, right? To skim the waves and how to dive for fish. Survival skills. Parents need to teach children survival skills. How to survive, how to face day-to-day challenges. So these are the day-to-day challenges that the seagull is going to face. He has to fly, he has to learn, master the art of flying, and he has to learn and master the art of catching fish. These are survival skills, life skills, isn't it? So they were training their other children who were ready to learn from them. Whereas this particular seagull, the young seagull, he was still not ready to step out of his comfort zone. And they knew for sure that until and unless he stepped out of his comfort zone, he would never master these arts of flying and catching fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock, while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle. When you do something, when you achieve something, when you become successful, your parents are far more happier when compared to your happiness. They are very proud of you, of your achievements. Here also, when the young seagull's brother was able to catch his first herring. Herring is a type of fish, sea fish. When he caught his first herring and started eating it, the parents applauded him, cheered him. How did they do it? They circled around and raised a proud cackle. Cackle is the sound made by the calls of seagulls. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau, midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. It's not only that they were learning, the parents were busy teaching them new skills, and the young ones were busy learning all the new skills needed for their for living their independent life. Apart from that, all the family members, they were sitting on the plateau opposite the ledge on which this young seagull was sitting, and they were taunting him. They were teasing him. For what? For his cowardice. saying that you are a coward, you're not able to face, you're not able to come out, you're not come out of your fear complex, you're not able to muster the courage necessary to make your first attempt. So they started teasing him for being a coward.